This is Carmelo Anthony, who was drafted to the Denver Nuggets in 2003 with the 3rd overall pick. With the Nuggets, he had multiple NBA All-Star selections and won a 2008 gold medal in the Beijing Olympics. In 2011, he was traded to the New York Knicks, his hometown, where he was selected to participate in more All-Star games and won even more gold medals. Unfortunately, in 2017, however, Carmelo Anthony and the New York Knicks don't seem to be getting along. There's been multiple rumors and articles where the Knicks say Phil Jackson wants to rebuild and Carmelo Anthony wants to win now, with Carmelo even saying himself he'll waive his no-trade clause if he's traded to the Clippers or the Cleveland Cavaliers. With all this tension, the question's up in the air. What team is Carmelo Anthony's next team? In this video, I'll be discussing his likely and unlikely destinations of teams he could get traded to or sign in a few years once his contract expires. Let's start off first with the home team. The Knicks are in a weird position with Carmelo Anthony and the future of their franchise. They got Derrick Rose and Brandon Jennings as expiring contracts, but then they also have these weird overpriced players such as Courtney Lee and Joakim Noah. Just looking at this Knicks roster right now, we kind of get the hint that Carmelo really wanted to sign with the Bulls a few years ago. But he also wanted his money and to stay home in New York, so he stayed in New York, and a few years later he brought the washed up Bulls to the Knicks. Realistically, I do not see Carmelo Anthony getting traded mid-season, but it has happened before, back when he was in Denver. In today's NBA, you really don't see big mid-season trades. It's usually in the off-season where something crazy happens. And that's what I feel like the best chances Carmelo has to being traded is in the offseason or signing with another team in the offseason. At the end of the day, Carmelo Anthony has the biggest say-so of all. He has the no-trade clause. He gets to demand if he accepts the trade or not. And the Knicks aren't really a bad team. If you get rid of Joakim Noah's disgusting contract, you don't necessarily have to re-sign Derrick Rose and Brandon Jennings, considering there are cheaper, more productive point guards out on the market this upcoming free agent, such as George Hill, Jeff Teague, to name a few. The Knicks are in limbo right now, and that's probably one of the worst places to be at, considering they're not really bad enough to tank, and they're not good enough to win and compete for an NBA title. I don't see Carmelo Anthony leaving the New York Knicks, at least this season. But stranger things have happened. I mean, Kevin Durant went to the Golden State Warriors. The next team up that's a possible destination for Carmelo Anthony is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Everyone knows Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Chris Paul, and Carmelo Anthony are boys. You know, they go riding around banana boats together. Except not with Carmelo. I guess he was taking the picture. Maybe. I'm just kidding. There's been a few articles here and there saying that LeBron James just wants the best for Carmelo. He wants to see Carmelo win. And the Cleveland Cavaliers have also even expressed interest in trading for Carmelo Anthony, but they're not going to trade Kevin Love to do so. Carmelo Anthony and Kevin Love trade straight up works perfectly for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But if we stick with the Kevin Love's off the trade block and he's staying with the Cleveland Cavaliers, then I guess Tristan Thompson's out, Iman Shumpert's out, Channing Frye's out, and if you could, J.R. Smith, but he's hurt, so you can't trade him this season. So you have to wait until at least the offseason. So trading all of these assets, especially Tristan Thompson, away from the Cleveland Cavaliers just for Carmelo to be with Kevin Love and LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, that's kind of a big risk than just trading away Kevin Love straight up for Carmelo. Considering their bench wouldn't look so good if they traded away Tristan Thompson and the rest of the guys. A lot of the bench players would probably be on minimum salaries. And come playoff time, the bench is key. Even in the regular season, when you gotta rest the starters, the bench is extremely important. So if the Cavs really wanted Carmelo that bad, they would just trade him straight up for Kevin Love. Moving on to the next team, the Boston Celtics, who are in desperate need of that star player to elevate them to actually compete with the Cleveland Cavaliers and actually have a chance to make it to the NBA Finals and have another chance to win the NBA championship. Is Carmelo Anthony that said player to elevate the Boston Celtics? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But Boston has a ton of assets and the young players they have on the roster and a lot of draft picks from the Brooklyn Nets. I honestly don't know if the Celtics even want to trade the Brooklyn Nets pick to any team unless they get like LeBron James or something, but that's not going to happen. So let's say the Celtics don't trade away the Brooklyn Nets pick that they own. They could still trade for Carmelo, considering they have guys like Amir Johnson, who's an expiring contract, young guys such as Jaylen Brown and Jay Crowder, which will have the trade working out perfectly for both sides. And now having 2 top 5 overall draft picks in Porzingis, who went at number 4 a few years ago, and Jaylen Brown, who went at number 3 last year. So if the Knicks really wanted to rebuild, this would probably be one of their best bets in getting Jaylen Brown and giving Carmelo to the Celtics so they can actually have a chance at beating the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James. The next team up is the Los Angeles Clippers. Like I said earlier, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Paul, all buddies in the league, and there's been a lot of rumors and speculations saying what would happen if all 4 of these players got together. I honestly don't know if we'll ever find out, and if we do find out, it will be when they're past their prime and they all join up on one team. But nevertheless, just trade them straight up for DeAndre Jordan and maybe like a guy on minimum. Or if they don't want to get rid of DeAndre, trade Blake Griffin. I mean, Blake Griffin's almost going to be expiring, so there you go. You have Carmelo Anthony once again. Or if you want to keep the big 3 intact of Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan for maybe 1 or 2 seasons at most, trade away Jamal Crawford, JJ Redick, and you might have to trade away the coach's son, which is, I know it's heartbreaking, it's dreadful considering Doc Rivers saved Austin Rivers' career. But if the Clippers really wanted Carmelo Anthony that badly, they'd get rid of the coach's son. But I'm not sure if the Knicks, on the other hand, would just be okay with the assets they get for Carmelo. And if Carmelo does go to the Los Angeles Clippers, hey, the Clippers finally make it out of the second round, or at least they should. Lastly, the team he wanted to go to a few years ago but didn't, the Chicago Bulls. Dwayne Wade currently plays there. I don't know for how much longer though. A trade for Rajon Rondo, Jerrion Grant, and Nikola Mirotic or Michael Carter-Williams would work perfectly for the New York Knicks and the Chicago Bulls to pull off a trade here. There's been reports that the Bulls are frustrated with Michael Carter-Williams and Nikola Mirotic's play lately, so send them both off to New York, and there you go. You have a nice sidekick to Kristaps Porzingis and Mirotic. Hopefully he could develop there. And a point guard of the future, maybe, possibly, in Michael Carter-Williams, which makes you not have to re-sign Derrick Rose to a max contract that he desperately wants, and he's not going to get. And if he does get, oh boy. The Bulls are in win now mode, and even though if they're not really winning, at least they're swinging for the fences, right? I mean, they signed Rajon Rondo in the offseason along with Dwayne Wade. They have a chance to make the playoffs, but just like every other team in the Eastern Conference, I don't think they have a great chance at beating LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So why not swing for some more fences and trade for Carmelo Anthony, a lineup of Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler, Carmelo Anthony, Taj Gibson, and Robin Lopez. It looks okay. I mean, maybe add Carmelo at that stretch 4 spot, and it would probably look better if they could find a point guard. So there you have it. 5 teams that are possible destinations for Carmelo Anthony and his possible next team if he gets traded this season, next season, or signs with any of these teams in the offseason. Carmelo wants to win now, and I feel like these teams right now are the best chances for him to win. He's getting older, so his window of opportunity is closing, but in my opinion, he'll always be a great scorer. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you feel like Carmelo Anthony will stay with the New York Knicks for the remainder of his contract? Do you agree or disagree with the teams I mentioned in this video for his possible next landing spot? And if you enjoyed, click the like button and check out some of my other videos. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.